Hello, welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour as Ingrid just sipped coffee.
Yummy.
As we started recording. Welcome back to all of those that are returning. This is the podcast where we usually speak about everything entrepreneurship, female entrepreneurship. Today we're going to shift it a little bit because entrepreneurship means life in general, because, when you work for yourself, life and work kind of blends together, hopefully beautifully, sometimes chaotically, but...
Well, usually chaotically.
Yeah.
But today we're going to teach them how to do it beautifully.
Oh, yeah. You put that so nicely.
I know.
So we should start with check-ins. How are you, Ingrid? How was your week?
My week was great. It was busy. There's a lot of stuff happening. We've had a few fundraiser events.
We did. We spent a lot of time together this week.
I saw you a lot.
Yes. So it must have been a
long
week.
Period of times. But it was great. And I also had the fundraiser for Men at the Races, too, for the Veterans Council.
Yeah.
So it was, past week has been quite busy.
Yes.
And it went by quite fast.
Yeah, so, I know.
How about you?
It was a great week. It was, super busy. Lots of fundraising for Healthy Start Coalition and my Dancing with Vera Stars participation. But we did Zumba for a cause Sunday, which was so fun. And I am no Zumba instructor, but it was Vera Fitness.
Nothing.
Yeah, it was Vera Fitness that generously put it on for us. And I had so much fun Zumbaing. It was 2 hours of nonstop dancing. I didn't think I was going to sweat that much.
I was drenched.
It was fun. So I had that, and there was senior prom, and I was on national TV again. So that's fun. It was a lot of great fun.
Yeah, I also did prom makeup.
You did,
and I got the sweetest text from one of the moms.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was. She says, "I love when you do my daughter's makeup. You make her feel so pretty."
Oh, that's great.
I saved it.
You should.
It was nice. It was a busy week.
Yes.
So life hack. So I'll do my life hack.
Yes.
So I love pancakes. I'm actually more of a French toast person. I love French toast.
Okay.
I can have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and just because.
Okay.
However,
so what you're saying is that you like French toast.
Yeah, I do. But a really quick hack is if you want your pancakes fluffier, and sometimes they say just add water. I know you make homemade pancakes.
I make Swedish. They're more like crepes.
Yes, those are awesome. The kids love those. But if you want to make your pancakes fluffier, instead of add water, add seltzer water. And it makes them twice as...
And we love our seltzer water.
I know. I love seltzer water.
Yeah. But you should probably not pick the one with flavoring then. You should do plain.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I think that might be taking it too far.
Okay, so let's start off with just plain old salsa water.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay. So I will give that a try next time I make American pancakes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yes, I will do that. You don't have any water in Swedish pancakes. You do milk. So
that's okay.
Yeah. And they're not fluffy. They're supposed to be non-fluffy.
They're really good.
Yeah.
We should you know what? Maybe if they subscribe to the newsletter, maybe that's a recipe that can be added.
Ooh, that is so secret and special. Yeah, maybe. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, do that. And maybe I'll just do a video and the recipe to my famous Swedish pancakes.
I just volunteered her to do that, but they're so good. Okay. Sorry, got distracted by pancakes and crepes and food.
Yes. So I'm not going to talk about food in my... And
no.
Today's not a hack. but it's an observation that I want everyone to do their own little research on. If you live with a person of the opposite sex. So I heard this somewhere and I thought to myself, man, that can't be right. And I have done observation with my husband and it's correct. So women shower facing away from the shower head. Men shower facing the shower head.
I can tell you right now that that's what happens in the house.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Why
Why?
is that? So part of me thought, well, maybe it's because if women don't want to get their hair wet, then you let it fall on your back. But even when I wash my hair, I would never face inwards to where all the water came right on me. But that's how men shower. Isn't that so? So now everyone needs to take a sneak peek at your partners when he or she showers and see if this is correct, or if you are the
exception to the rule.
Exception to the rule. But I even tried because I'm like, I'm going to see what it feels like facing inwards. No, if it's terrible.
Maybe it's because we're more sensitive, or
no, I think men is more sensitive than I think we're.
Well, with our face.
Maybe
Usually we take care of our
maybe
face.
we just don't want it right in our face. I don't know, but I thought it was the most interesting thing ever.
No, I can tell you without even going home. That's exactly how we shower.
So yes, you're all welcome for me pointing out that, and it would be nice if anyone knows the reason why. Yeah, write in, comment on the Facebook group.
I should,
because I thought
I should ask the boys how do they shower.
Yeah, don't know my son, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing there. Yep.
Huh.
So there you go. Not a hack, but an important life observation.
And she didn't tell me this beforehand, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there.
Well, there.
Well, then.
Yes. That's what we had for. So should we jump into today's slightly different subject?
Yes.
And should we say what? So we're not going to talk about time management or any of that. We're going to talk about house management today.
Yes.
Because as you know, I am an interior designer. And this is one of the things I talked about, or this is the thing I talked about on TV this week, is how to get your house a little updated without having to spend a fortune, for your house to be fabulous on a frugal budget. And since we are, a lot of us, working from home, your office, your home, all of it, and you kind of spend a lot of time in it, we can get house blind or home blind sometimes. And
I think you avoid it. You kind of walk in and you ignore it.
Yeah.
But I think we both know that when you walk in and your house is decluttered, it looks nice, and you might have bought in something new or rearranged something or added something.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And
well, I can go take a step back and talk about the psychological impacts of home decor. It's not just to be pretty. It really can affect us both physically and emotionally, because first of all, clutter is one of the biggest stressors not one of the biggest, but it's a big stressor. It's been proven that people that live in cluttered homes have higher cortisol levels, and cortisol is the stress hormone. So having a lot of stuff around us increases our stress levels. And yeah, I mean, that's understandable, right? Because you can't really breathe when you have a lot of things. But then from a health standpoint, research has also shown that you're more prone to eat unhealthy foods in a cluttered environment. So you reach for the snacks or the chocolate bars and the fast food, and because
Mm.
you're not properly sitting down the same way when it's clutter, you kind of just find a book to put it on or something. Um, and that, so yes, you can gain weight from a cluttered home too.
Okay, so maybe that is a hack if you want to lose
Well,
weight.
that could also be a
Declutter.
hack. Yes, declutter. Yes, less stuff, less weight.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be that you can't have any stuff as long as it's organized.
Hmm.
Um, that.
Sometimes you need it, but just having it
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because there's a few that I've learned from you,
Hmm.
and it makes a big difference
Yeah.
that when people come into my home,
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh, that's so pretty." And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
Because it makes a difference. There's
Yeah.
statement things that don't take
Hmm.
a lot. You can shop around. I like to shop around for things, but
Hmm.
it makes a big deal to just change just a few things,
Yeah.
strategically change it so it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And we all want that to our house to look put together
Yes.
and kind of make it look a little fancier than it is. And people always think that involves money, but as professional interior designers, these are some of the things we learn. Know that we know that if you do certain tweaks, it's going to look fancier than it maybe
So what you're
possible.
saying
Yeah.
is that you're gonna hook us up with
I'm going to
some
hook you up with
some
some.
fabulous.
Not only have I taught you about how you shower, but I am now going to hook you. And apparently, I'm sharing my Swedish pancake recipes too. I'm just giving it all today.
Yeah, but not only are they fabulous, but it's
Yeah.
frugal
Yes,
too.
it does. Because that I'm all about making the money go a long way. I mean, I
That's
don't
a
want
big
to.
difference. That's a big difference and a deal
Yeah.
because, like you said, a lot of people think if I want my house to look, richer,
Hmm.
fancier, that means I have to spend all this money. And I think we've both seen items
Yeah.
at two different places, two different prices,
Yep.
and there's
You,
really no
yeah.
big
No.
difference.
No big difference. Sometimes there could be a little bit of a quality, of course, difference, but in certain things, the quality is not that important.
Hmm.
Then in some areas you should just. So, for instance, a sofa is an item in your house that you, if it's in your family room, somewhere you sit every day, yes, you should probably spend a little more money on that because it's something you use every day and it's a wear and tear. Whereas, for instance, light fixtures, which is one of the items we're going to jump into, it is, yes, there's some quality aspects and there could be a quality of the light, but it's not something you touch. You hang it up and it's going to hang there, especially if it's a chandelier. It's not going to get wear and tear. So, can you shop around finding cheaper alternatives? Absolutely. So,
So
yeah, so I'm all about that. I'm called the frugal designer for a reason. Yes.
I love it. Okay, so let's
So
get
let's
started.
jump in. So the first thing I want to say, and especially now when we're getting into different season, we're getting into spring. Um, a lot of clients, they think that they want to repaint. I mean, sometimes we do want to repaint, but you think and you say, oh, I want to infuse some color, and you think, oh, let's just paint all the walls in colors. I would say if you wanted to look more um, upscale, you want to keep your wall colors fairly neutral.
Mhm.
So I'm talking whites, could be beiges, could be grayish, which is a combination of gray and beige. Could be grays, could be slight tints of blue or green, but you don't want to go nuts color-wise
Mm,
because it becomes too much.
mm.
It is better to infuse color in your accent. So, for instance, pillows is one of those, and I don't believe in 200 pillows on the bed. I'm just saying that. That's just a little outrageous. But pillows, for instance, in your sofa, you can switch those out seasonally. So if you want to infuse some spring color, well, then get some new pillows or just other pillowcases. For the standard pillows, like the 20 by 20 and yeah, standard size, you can just buy some different pillowcases and switch those out seasonally, and it feels like you infused new color. But it's really important don't go crazy on the walls because it does not look very kind of exclusive or upscale when you have
That's
too
too
many
much
bright
work
colors.
too.
Yeah. So, I've done a lot of black lately. Well, black is kind of a neutral as well. Dark blue can be a neutral, but it's when you have the purple rooms and the hot pink rooms. And yeah, so keep it neutral. That's my first recommendation. Keep the walls neutral, add colors with, and don't forget plants. That's a color as well. And a lot of people spend a lot of time on their gardens. They look so pretty, but bring the flowers inside. Cut some.
You do that quite often.
Because you forget it's all pretty outside, but you don't see it when you're inside. So bring it into the office, and yeah. That is my first tip. And then another tip that people find highly useful, and I know you've used it, is a lot of houses today don't have the super high ceilings that we wish it had, especially if you have a 2-story house, then you usually don't have the 12-foot ceilings. But a lot of the more upscale homes, of course, they have 20 feet or, super high ceilings. A trick to make the ceilings look a little higher or taller is to hang your curtains higher above the windows and patio doors if you're having curtains around patio doors. But if you hang them up higher, you're going to give the illusion of taller windows and therefore higher ceilings. But I also love the curtains where the rod goes on the ceiling.
That's what I have.
Yes. And it hangs. Think of it as, in the hospitals when you have those divider curtains. Yes, but don't use those. But that's the trick. It's called a ripple fold, and it really increases the height of the windows, of course, because they go all the way up to the ceiling and gives that elongated illusion.
I really love it.
Yep, that's another cheap trick. Then look at things that can be easily switched out, like faucets in your house. We tend to overlook our faucets. We kind of, whatever the house came with, and unless they don't work, we don't switch them out. But faucets too is something there. You can find pretty inexpensive faucets. And these days, 10 years back, there were not that many finishes to pick from. It was either brushed nickel or shiny chrome. But now you have all the gold colors, anywhere from champagne to more brass. You have black, which I think is such a fun color for faucets. And what I do often in bathrooms and kitchens, I match the faucet to the handles, the knobs. And that way you can because knobs and cabinet handles is another fairly cheap way to update your kitchen and bathrooms. Big warning though, if you have a large kitchen, you can have up to 40 knobs. So yes, don't pick knobs that are, $20 each. Then it's going to add up. But there are definitely alternatives out there where you can, and in bathrooms, usually you don't have that many doors or drawers in bathrooms. So definitely, and match the faucet with the handle or the doorknob. Great way to update.
I love that. I need to update my bathroom.
Yeah. So, and I think black too, as an accent, is great because it's kind of gives it a little more of a masculine tone too, so it doesn't feel so girly in bathrooms maybe, or if you want a little more contrast, especially with all this white that we have in bathrooms and kitchens now. I think the black is really cool accent. Yes, we talked about light fixtures, same thing there. So definitely shop around. One thing I do see my clients make big mistakes is not to measure. And do you remember when you sent some stuff to me? You're like, do you like the chandelier? I'm like, what's the size? You're like, oh, I didn't know how to look at that. Yes, you need to measure, especially when you buy online light fixtures, because, well, yes, you can go too big where the chandelier is bigger than the actual table. But I think worse is going too small, because a small little light over a larger table looks shrunken. It looks ridiculous. So larger light fixtures usually give more of an impact. But you want to make sure you measure, because they might look great in the picture online.
Well, they always do.
Yeah. And then when they come home, it's like, oh, didn't think about that. So definitely measure before you buy. And then what other fun things can we do? Well, we talked about this before. I had it as one of my hacks. Bookshelves or floating shelves is a great way to sometimes fill out space that you have. You might have a big wall. You might have a cabinet underneath it, or a credenza or something, and you don't know what to do on top unless you have artwork or other things. Putting some shelves is a great way to fill out the wall space visually, but also it's a great way where you can collect things so they're not cluttered all around your house. So yeah, bookshelves and shelves are for so much more than books. You can create little collections of things that kind of go together. So say you have an odd collection of, I don't know, figurines, cats, whatever, frogs, putting them on a shelf together, now they become like a little piece of art. And the good thing is too, you can always move it around. So again, you could do it seasonally, put some spring objects in there. Here, we can move things around. We can change the name here for each episode. You can't see it if you're not on YouTube, but we have a little thing behind us where we put in the name or the theme of our episode. But yeah, that's a great way to utilize wall space that you have, but also fill it out, because nothing can look as empty as, a big blank wall sometimes. Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to send you a picture.
All right.
Because I have a wall that
you don't know what to do with.
I'm pretty sure I do not.
Okay. So another great way to fill out wall space, but also to combine a lot of odd objects, or in this case, odd artwork, is to create gallery walls. And what is a gallery wall? It's just a combination of a bunch of different photos or artwork. Now, you can be super graphic and have them all in the same frame and color frame and all the same size. Or you can just have fun with it and create a wall with combination of photos and art, combination of framed and unframed things. As the trick to a gallery wall is to just make sure the distance between the different objects or the different art has about the same distance all around. Because then it looks like it's supposed to be there, and it's like an organized mess almost. But it's a great
favorite thing.
Yeah, but I think it's a great way for people that you have artwork or photos throughout the years and you just don't know what to do with it, and it looks weird by itself. But all put together, it really can be a great conversation starter, but also a great kind of collection of your life, what you've gone through, and trips you made, took, and kids were little or dogs were born or whatever it is. But it really, I think it's fun, and I don't think people put enough artwork up, especially artwork that means something, that has traveled with them or passed down from generation. So we'll put some pictures of each of my ideas in our newsletter as well, so you get a visual of what I'm talking about. And then another thing that has been really popular lately is to add trim to walls. And if you go on Pinterest, for instance, and just go kind of, you can look for feature walls or trimmed out walls. You will see a lot of this cool, fun patterns where the only thing you use are just kind of like a 2x2 trim.
I've seen those.
And you just make sure, you put it in some kind of a graphic pattern. Sometimes they can be more random patterns, but it really is cheap and super fun way to add dimension, because the trim is popping out from the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And also add interest, visual interest. So when you're using trim on the wall, avoid a lot of artwork and stuff. You don't want to mess it up. You want to keep it as a feature wall, but it's great behind a bed. For instance, you might not have a headboard. You might not want a headboard, but doing a trimmed wall behind is a great way to add some interest. Or anywhere where you're not sure what to do with the wall. You paint the trim the same color as the wall itself. So it just gives that slight illusion of 3-dimension. And what you can also do, if you want to go super fun and fancy, you can put LED lights with the trim to kind of highlight certain, give some shadows.
That's fun.
Makes it so fun. So trim is really, it's not just for crown moldings and baseboards. You can do it all over the wall.
I love that.
Yeah. And again, Pinterest. I don't know how people survive without Pinterest. Do you pin, right?
I do not pin.
What?
I don't know what I would do if I have to pin something else. I would get totally distracted and spend too much time on Pinterest.
Really? Well, it can be a rabbit hole, but I just love when I have an idea, I go on Pinterest to get any inspiration.
After listening to you, and I talk to you quite a bit, there's a few things. I'm in between either the art gallery or the shelves. I have a couple places.
And you can combine, if you have a humongous wall, you can, for instance, do like smaller floating shelves. These are actually shelves that are meant to put artwork on it. So instead of having a bunch of nails on the wall, you put a few shelves and you kind of stack the art. But you can combine that with an art wall around it. Absolutely.
So
there's some fun.
We'll have to do before and after on our page, because I have 2 walls.
We're gonna have fun with Ingrid's walls.
Yeah, I have 2 walls. I'm trying to figure out, because I do like, it's plain now, so it's just plain. But I do have a box of pictures that I haven't hung.
Yeah.
And I do like walking in, and because the house doesn't seem finished.
Yeah. And often it doesn't when the walls are all blank. I will say, though, if you're super contemporary in your design, you might just want everything to be no clutter and not an object anywhere, nothing on the walls. Sure, then that's the look you're going for.
That is not Ingrid.
No, that is not Ingrid. And it's most of us kind of like to look at things that brings us joy, as Marie Kondo would say. So it often makes it look a little more finished and put. You get that.
Stay tuned.
That fab finish.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
So,
so
I think those are some of my top frugal tips.
And we would love to see what you all do with these tips and give us maybe a before and after.
Yes.
What you guys do.
That.
Just to kind of see.
Yeah.
And I will share I would share what I do because I ordered a light fixture. That I'll take a picture of what I have now.
Yeah.
And what I bought.
Yeah.
And then we'll work on our wall.
That was the right size.
Yes, the right size. Well, I bought one that wasn't dimmable, and that was a huge deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Because I love the light, but it was just too bright.
Yeah, can I just add that too? That's such a good point. Dimmers, any light you have, try to get a dimmable. Put in those. Yes, thank you. I don't know why the dimmers don't come standard, because overhead lighting is so harsh, and that's what most new houses have today. And those cans are super harsh. Put in a dimmer.
Well, the light that I got is not dimmable.
Oh, so the light fixture.
The light fixture. So if that's something.
Yeah, some of them are.
If you're buying something, especially pricier. Make sure it is, because it's really nice, but it's way too bright.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a light bulb that is not dimmable. So, but then you can switch to another light bulb. Yeah. So yes, a little different, different road we walked down today, but we figured, you know what? These are things we all struggle with, right?
And this is the exciting part of a podcast. You just never know.
Yes, and it is our podcast, so we can do whatever we want.
I concur. Well, Kristina.
Yes, Ingrid.
This was fun.
This was so fun.
I love it.
I can talk about this all the time.
I know, and I get to hang out with you. So,
yes. Until next time, send us before and afters.
Yes,
and
stay tuned for the Swedish pancake.
Ooh. Oh, that's right. Yes.
All right. Cheers.
Bye bye.